a process of creating a website on your AWS EC2 instance. This video is likely going to be divided into two parts. So this is the outline of what we will be doing. We have step 1 to step 9. You need to log into our AWS console. So go to AWS console. You do this. Sign into the console. Okay, so let's go back to our outline. So we want to start with creating the network. So the first thing is to create a VPC. So in this case, we're going to create a VPC. We will create a flow log. The flow log is what helps us capture all the traffic going through our VPC. And that's VPC, those logs will be captured onto an S3 bucket. So what we'll do is while we're creating the VPC, we will go ahead. Immediately we create the VPC, we'll go ahead and create the flow logs and the S3 bucket and associate our S3 bucket to a VPC log. So let's go back to our console. So let's go ahead. Click on create VPC. We'll create the VPC alone. What's our VPC name? So we'll give it a name called QBT resource VPC. QBT resource VPC. What CIDR input? So we'll take a large CIDR block 172. Let's use the 172 dot 16 dot 16 dot 0 slash 16. Let's create VPC. So here we can see our VPC we created, QBT resource VPC. You click on it, you see what we have. We have all of that. So, but we want to create our flow logs immediately. So if we click on create flow log, the flow log, we give it a name, QBT resource flow logs. Okay, filter. What do we want to accept to track? Is it to accept or reject or so we want to capture all traffic, not just accepted traffic or rejected traffic. How often the interval we want, we'll leave it at 10 minutes. The destination. So where do we want to send our logs to? Like I mentioned earlier, we want to send our logs to the S3 bucket. So we'll click on S3 bucket. So we will come here. We do not have an S3 bucket, so we will create one. We'll create one. So yeah, we already had a bucket created earlier on. So I'm going to just select the same bucket. Yeah, so there's the bucket name. So go ahead and create. Okay, let's just go back. I like to use the same bucket. So this is the QBT resource bucket. So just copy the name, and we go back to our flow log configuration. So we will give it the name as instructed, the ARM AWS S3 okay. So we have the flow log. So we'll create a subnet out of that VPC and associated with the VPC. So let's click on create subnet, or the subnet name. Okay, the VPC to be associated to. This is the VPC. Here is CIDR block for our VPC. Subnet settings. So we'll give it a name, QBT resource. QBT resource subnet availability zone. Choose Europe Stockholm 1. IPv4 VPC block. That is what we have there. So we would now select a CIDR block from that from the VPC CIDR block. So we'll give it 172.16.10/34. Okay, hello. It's 10.0/34. Yeah. Okay. So that is it, right? So create the subnet. Okay, a subnet has been created. Go back to our program. So we create internet gateway. Internet gateway settings. Give it a name. QBT internet gateway. QBT resource internet gateway. Okay, so we have that. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we now need to attach the internet gateway to our VPC. So you click on the internet gateway, you select the internet gateway, which is QBT resource internet gateway, and currently you see it as detached. Then we have to go to action and say attach to VPC. So we select the VPC. Currently we have just one VPC here. So QBT resource VPC, attach it, click on attach to internet gateway, and that is it. So go back to internet gateway, you now see it as attached. And okay, so the next thing is to check our route table. We click on this route table, we go down to see check subnet association. You scroll down, you see that explicit subnet association, there's nothing associated, no subnet associated. So this subnet, we need to now associate it to the route table that we have. So we'll click on this and save association. So this current subnet 172.16.10.0/24, we're going to associate it to this route table FE 74SE. So click on save associate to check the route on this router. That's the route table. So if you go there, you see the subnet with the VPC we have there. That's 172.16 0.0/16. It's only locally routed. That means only the networks inside of this subnet that can talk to each other. But we want our systems, that are connected to our subnet to be able to access the internet. So if you go into the routes, you can see that it's only these networks that can talk to each other. So we want to edit routes. So go to edit route and add the routes. So in this case, we're creating a default route, and we want to pass it out through the internet gateway. So in this case, which internet gateway? We have our QBT resource internet gateway. Click on that. Click save. So next we go to the security. So under your VPC, you see the security security parts. Under security, you have the network access control list and the security group. So you go to the NACL, the NACOs, you'll see that we have a NACO already created. It's called, and then it's associated with our QBT resource subnets, and then have the VPC ID that is connected to, and all that, right? So we go create our security group. So let's create a security group for our EC2 instance. We'll be creating later on. Give it a name. Call it QBT resource SG security group. The VPC. So put it in the right VPC. QBT resource VPC. Inbound rules. The security group has no inbound rules, so we'll create an inbound rule. Add rule. In this case, I want to create an SSH access and also allow only my IP address. Then for outbound rule, we're allowing all. We're allowing all for outbound rule. So currently SSH is what we're permitting, so we can access our server. So great. So this is our. So if we go back to our flow, we've already we've completed this.